So you mentioned there with the number ninjas approach that you mentioned abacus, and I suppose that's a kind of concept of mental arithmetic. Mental arithmetic for me is something that's been lost in the past. You know, schools don't generally teach that now. Why do you think it's so effective in learning maths, mental arithmetic, and an abacus? You know, you can't carry an abacus around everywhere you go. So how does all that work?
Okay, the goal of mental math is to help children overcome life challenges more successfully and realize their intellectual potential as much as possible. The main way of doing so is the equal development of the right and left hemispheres of the brain, as I mentioned above, and the ability to use them simultaneously. To explain more precisely, mental math is able to do this in the following way. Asymmetric use of hands. This means that children begin mental math by learning to use a special tool, abacus. Both hands participate in exercise process, but different fingers on different hands. These actions are so asymmetric that the brain is unable to automatically duplicate the movements of the hand on the other hand, and is forced to actively work on both hands during the exercise process. Since different hands are controlled by different hemispheres of the brain, both hemispheres are equally active during the counting process. The second important idea of the methodology is to free child from calculator over the time and gradually switch to the calculator imagined in mind instead of the real one. Imagination controlled by the right hemisphere and mathematical operations by the left. Therefore, performing operations in the mind with an abacus again and again forces both hemispheres of the brain to work synchronously, but this time on a more complicated task. Working on an imaginary calculator also activates the parts of the brain that are responsible, for example, for concentration and memory. And the last one, the third interesting detail, is the small size on the calculator. As we call this abacus. The abacus is arranged in such a way that performing operations on it with fingers automatically develops fine motor skills. In addition to this, the training in so-called speed writing also increases the flexibility of the fingers. The fact that the development of fine motor skills is one of the best ways to accelerate the mental progress of young age, has already been scientifically proven and is actively used in various educational programs. All of this helps the child to become smarter, think logically, to be able to solve math problems more easily and quickly, and this is confirmed by numerous studies. That's why we already know from observing our students that this method improves both math and many other necessary skills, which are first of all seen in the educational life. But UK school evaluation system also allows us to easily monitor the impact of our program through school-based feedback.